last we left it before votes, I believe we were going to recognize Mr. Cummings on Ms. Lawrence's amendment. The gentleman, ranking member, Mr. Cummings, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I strongly support the Lawrence amendment. 10,000 children in Flint suffered lead poisoning because of decisions made by Governor Snyder's administration. Let me repeat that. 10,000 children in Flint suffered lead poisoning because of a decision made by Governor Snyder's administration. Tens of thousands of men, women, and children still don't have drinking water in Flint. We owe it to them to follow the facts wherever they may lead. In December, the chairman made the unilateral decision to close our bipartisan investigation into the Flint water crisis. That very same day, I had written him to lay out in detail the ways the Michigan Governor Snyder had failed to comply with the requests for documents that he and I signed in February 2016. Shutting down our investigation, I believe, was premature. Governor Snyder is not above the law. No one is. We had not finished investigating. For a year, Governor Snyder stonewalled this committee and withheld key documents. He admitted that he regularly deleted his emails. He told us that he stopped doing that at some point. But we don't know how many Flint-related documents he deleted because he refused to provide proof of when he stopped deleting his emails. I can tell you if anybody else did that, this committee would be all over him. We'd be having hearings, news conferences, and it would be holy hell. But not for the governor of Michigan. Not him. Not him. The governor's lawyers did not conduct thorough searches on one half of our original request. Documents concerning his administration's response to the health crisis. I guess he just said to hell with us. They don't really matter. A subpoena coming from the Government Reform Committee, I'll just rope-a-dope until they just go away. And that's what we sadly did. Governor Snyder's lawyers did not search for those documents saying that our bipartisan inquiry, let me say that again, bipartisan inquiry, was, and I quote, overly burdensome, end of quote. I wonder what kind of precedent that sets when others are subpoenaed and basically say, you know, the hell with you. Without the documents we asked for, we don't know why his response to the crisis has been so inept. And I want to go along with what Ms. Lawrence said, Mr. Chairman. I want to be real clear. I thank you. I really do. Because you didn't have to hold those hearings. You didn't. And you did. And I appreciate you bringing the governor before us. I appreciate you going to Flint. I appreciate you doing the things that you have done to put a spotlight on this travesty. But you know, I really want, and I know and I want to applaud, by the way, the prosecutors up there in Michigan, because obviously they're taking a close look at this under a microscope. And I want to tell them, keep on looking. And finally, I just think, Mr. Chairman, that we need to bring this, while there may be prosecutions, that's what they're doing in Michigan. But as I said in my opening statement, we have duties right here in our committee. And when I think about those kids suffering, many of whom will never be healed, many of them will go to the 3rd grade and will not be able to see Dick run and won't even know why, but because lead is filling their veins. And so we were right to investigate the topic. Incredibly, the drinking water of Flint continues to be unsafe even to today. And so I want to applaud Ms. Lawrence for her hard work, and with that, I'll yield back and ask the members to support.
Thank the gentleman. Does any other member wish to comment? Gentlewoman from the Virgin Islands, Ms. Plaskett, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I want to give a statement in support of the amendment offered by Representative Lawrence. And I'm doing so knowing, Mr. Chairman, of your support for the investigation in its inception, your concern for the people of Flint, Michigan. The Flint water crisis continues, however, to this day. And the governor, it would appear, has stonewalled this committee's investigation by withholding key documents. And so that's why we're concerned, because of the lack of transparency by the governor, that we have decided, through you, Mr. Chairman, to unilaterally pull the plug on the committee's bipartisan investigation, which was occurring. What sense does that make at this point when we have gone so far down the road as a committee and have really done some tremendous work on this? During the governor's State of the State address last week, he spent less than 2 minutes discussing the ongoing tragedy in Flint, causing our colleague, Representative Kildee, to say that, quote, the governor is either completely aloof or simply doesn't care about Flint. And why have there been only 600 lead pipes replacements, over 20,000 service lines that have been affected by the lead service have yet to take place? Mr. Chairman, your travels to Flint in March of 2016, when you said you wanted to know, and I quote, who knew what and when and what did they do? And we don't believe, Mr. Chairman, at this time, that we have sufficiently received the answers that you posed when you opened this investigation. Without a complete and total response to the committee's February 26 document request, we'll never know the answers to your questions, Mr. Chairman. Our committee's function is to provide oversight, and when we issue a subpoena request, it needs to have teeth. That means people need to respond. During the second document production status hearing last year, you told, Mr. Chairman, the agencies that when you get a letter from the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, it is not an option. Well, it appears that the governor of Michigan believes that your subpoena request, Mr. Chairman, is an option because you have closed the investigation without him responding to your subpoena. And when the committee, you said, sends a document request, we expect an honest effort to collect and respond to those requests. We expect communications, and we expect you to work with us in good faith, which basically means when you make a commitment, you do what you say you're going to do. The governor of Michigan has not done what he said he would do for this committee. And Mr. Chairman, over the last year and multiple conversations with our staffs, the governor's attorneys have defied the committee's request for documents and refused to conduct searches that the committee has requested. You didn't allow that in the federal government with the investigations that you had on other matters. Why would you allow that in this instance? I don't think that speaks to the integrity for which you have held the chairmanship of this committee, and this committee has conducted its past investigation. They have repeatedly delayed responding to the committee, and the governor's attorneys have treated the committee's request as an afterthought that they respond to only after addressing other inquiries that they view as a higher priority than the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform of the United States Congress? I think not. And so, Mr. Chairman, we are requesting, by reminding you that when you asked the witness at the second document production hearing why the committee should settle for anything less than 100% compliance with the committee's document request, we need to ensure that they have followed that. I now ask you the same question. Why should this committee not demand 100% compliance with our document request from Governor Schneider? Why have we closed an investigation without 100% answers to the questions that this committee posed? I ask the committee support Representative Lawrence's amendment. Thank you.
Thank the gentlewoman. Does any other member seek to have further discussion on the amendment? If not, the question is now on the amendment offered by the gentlewoman from Michigan, Ms. Lawrence. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Uh,
Those opposed, no. No. Opinion, Chair, the
Mr.
noes have it.
Chair, may I have a recorded vote, please?
A roll call is requested. As previously announced, further proceedings on the question will be postponed until we complete the amendment process. Are there any further amendments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the
Clerk-
desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment for Mr. Cummings.
Amendment to the Rules of the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, offered by Mr. Cummings of Maryland.
With that, the gentleman from Maryland, the ranking member, is recognized for 5 minutes to explain his amendment. Without objection, the amendment is considered as read.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, President Trump has refused to divest his personal businesses. As a result, he's put himself and this country in a serious dilemma. Each time the President acts or makes a statement, or this body acts, there will be lingering questions. Does that action benefit the country, or does it benefit the President's personal finances? This amendment's goal is to remove that question, at least for the actions of this committee. We want to remove any doubt that the actions of this committee might be done in order to benefit President Trump or his vast business entities. The idea behind this amendment is simple and common sense. No bill should pass this committee if it directly benefits the President or his businesses. I think every member of this committee can support this amendment. You don't just have to take my word for it. Republicans are some of the biggest backers of the principle that the President has a duty to avoid conflicts of interest. While an attorney at the Department of Justice in 1974, Antonin Scalia wrote this, and I quote, "It would obviously be undesirable as a matter of policy for the President or Vice President to engage in conduct prescribed by the order or regulations, where no special reason for exemption from the generally applicable standards exists," end of quote. Professor Richard Painter, President George W. Bush's ethics advisor, wrote an op-ed saying this, and I quote, "As long as the President-elect is financially benefiting from his enterprises, every appointment and domestic and foreign policy decision he makes will confront the question of whether he acted to benefit the nation or his own pocket. Moreover, counterparties will face irresistible temptation to benefit Trump's enterprises so as to secure his action or win his favor," end of quote. I did not want to get to this point. I wanted to prevent it. Last December, several Democratic members and I convened a bipartisan panel of top ethics experts so that the American people could hear directly about the challenges that could confront President Trump on day one. These experts strongly recommended that President Trump do what every previous president has done for decades: divest all ownership interests, liquidate his business assets, and place them in a truly blind trust operated by an independent party. Even the Wall Street Journal editorial board warned, and I quote, "If Mr. Trump doesn't liquidate, he will be accused of a pecuniary motive any time he takes a policy position," end of quote. That was the Wall Street Journal, not the Huffington Post. Yet, on January 11th, 9 days before he was inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States, President Trump defied these warnings and announced that he would not relinquish ownership. As of Friday, these conflicts moved from theoretical to reality. Now it falls to us in the Congress to do our job and ensure that these conflicts are thoroughly reviewed and addressed. Mr. Chairman, this committee's rules are more than a collection of do's and don'ts for the members of the committee. They're also expressions of our values. Passing this amendment is an important first step in showing that we value the integrity of our own committee. This committee is a statement that, this amendment is a statement that we act on behalf of the citizens of our great country and not on behalf of the financial interests of one man. We may disagree on policy, but we share the common goal of serving the American public, not the financial interests of the President. I hope all our members will agree that it is important enough to be a part of our rules package today, and with that, I urge members to vote in favor of the amendment. And with that, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back, and I'll recognize myself. This is clearly a gotcha amendment. While it's cute in its creativity, I don't think it is appropriate for the rules package, and I would stand in opposition and hope and urge members to vote no. With that, I yield back. Does any other member wish to be? The gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Clay, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I move to strike the last word, Mr. Chairman. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment. You know, today the Senate is considering one of our House colleagues, Congressman Tom Price, to be the next Secretary of HHS. If confirmed, Congressman Price will preside over that agency during an administration that is pledged to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which would roll back health care for millions of recently insured Americans and ensure this administration makes America sick again. Questions have been raised about Congressman Price's activities as a member of Congress and whether he took action to enrich himself. For instance, it was reported that he invested in a medical device company less than a week before introducing a bill that would have helped that company. It has also been reported that he purchased thousands of dollars of stock of a company, not on the open market like ordinary investors, but through what is known as a private placement, and learned about that company from another member of Congress who sat on the board. Those are the kinds of questions President Trump will face if he does not completely divest himself, liquidate his assets, and place them into a blind trust operated by a truly independent entity. We don't want any doubt about who we serve when we take actions within this committee. And, Mr. Chairman, this amendment is a common-sense measure to remove any doubt that the action of this committee might be taken to benefit President Trump or any of his businesses. And I urge my colleagues.
Would my friend yield?
Sure, I'll yield to my friend.
I thank my friend. I want to concur in his sentiments and his statements. The chairman says this is a gotcha amendment. Gosh, I wish it were. I wish the issues weren't as grave, in fact, as they are. And those who are enablers today may come to regret their blind support for the potential for enormous conflicts of interest all over the world. It is actually for the President's own protection that we ought to insist on these measures. And I don't think it's gotcha politics at all. All of us want the President to be beyond suspicion. All of us want to make sure that the decisions he makes, whether we agree with them or not, are not tainted by the stench, potentially, of a blatant conflict. And it seems to me members of the Oversight Committee ought to share on a bipartisan basis in that concern.
Would the gentleman yield on that point?
It is actually not my time to control. I yield back to my friend, Mr. Clay.
I'd be glad to yield to my friend from South Carolina.
I think that, thank you for that. And I just say in fairness to the chairman, it just strikes me that whether we're on the majority or the minority on this issue, I think we're all after the same thing, which is real accountability from past president, existing president, and there's nothing in the existing rules package that would prohibit us from doing the very things that are outlined in this amendment.
Well, and then that brings me to another issue with my friend from South Carolina. You know, perhaps we need to look at changing House rules, making this committee even in number of members from each party, like the Ethics Committee, so that we truly are balanced here, so that it doesn't come down to a partisan issue, and that we can objectively look at these issues, and perhaps the chairman may want to entertain that idea someday.
My friend yield again
Will the gentleman yield?
to me.
Let me yield to the chairman.
Oh, Lord.
I want to hear this response.
I think he's ready to give you your request.
Are you ready?
Yeah, nice try.
We can jointly propose
I yield
it
back.
as a house rule.
Well, now will my friend yield quickly.
I'll yield back.
I thank my friend. Is it not true that the very valid point made by our friend from South Carolina, if in fact he means it, then he would have no objection to this amendment since it simply restates something he already assumes is in the rules? What harm would it do to make it explicit and clear under the current circumstances?
Gentlemen,
I asked my friend from Missouri.
Gentleman's time has expired. Does any other member wish to have further discussion? Does any other member have further discussion on the amendment? If none, the question is now on the amendment offered by the gentleman. Before we do that, sorry, we'll recognize one of our newest members here, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce your last name until I practice in front of the mirror for a while, but you're now recognized for 5 minutes. That guy over there.
Just call me Raja. Just call me Raja, Mr. Chairman. I just want to speak very briefly on the ranking member's amendment. I strongly support the amendment. I think there are a lot of folks on both sides of the aisle who have serious concerns about the President's potential conflicts of interest. And unfortunately, we still don't know the extent of any financial entanglements here. Despite what we were told, the President still refuses to release his taxes, thereby denying Americans of a full picture of his financial dealings. The issue has come to a head at this point since, obviously, the President has been sworn into office. This issue is no longer theoretical. It's moved into the realm of reality. Because the President is not taking action to preserve his own integrity, I urge this committee and Congress to take actions to preserve ours. We can help preserve that integrity by adopting this amendment and removing all doubt that any legislative action that we take could potentially benefit President Trump's personal finances. This is why I'm supporting this common sense measure, and I respectfully request all of my colleagues to join me. Thank you.
We thank the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Krishnamurthy. Did I pronounce right? Close enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank the gentleman. Does any other member wish to speak on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Raskin, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. The Constitution, of course, operates on the principle of separation of powers. And in order to deal with the problem of conflicts of interest, the Constitution sets forth a couple of provisions. One was it said that the President has to be a born U.S. citizen and not a naturalized citizen. But another thing it said in the Emoluments Clause was that the President of the United States could not accept any payments of any kind from foreign powers without the consent of Congress. Now, this President has not come to Congress to ask for our consent in a number of foreign business entanglements that, at least if the press is to be believed, he's engaged in right now. So he's not come to us to ask for our permission, leaving only impeachment as a possible resolution of that problem. That's obviously something that nobody's prepared to do at this point. The President has also said the general ethics statute that applies to other federal officials doesn't apply to him. So the first thing we should do is make sure that the situation doesn't get any worse. And this is why I want to weigh in very strongly for the ranking member's amendment, because this is an ounce of prevention to prevent us from getting into a situation where we have to throw many pounds of cure at the situation. So I think it's very simple, it's straightforward. As several members have said on both sides of the aisle, I think this is something that's clearly within the power of the committee, and I think it establishes a clear ethical guideline going forward at a time of very murky ethics in terms of government generally. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank the gentleman. Gentleman yields back. Does any other member wish to opine on this amendment? If not, the question is now on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Maryland. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. No. The opinion of the chair, the noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to.
Roll call.
Roll call has been requested, and as previously announced, further proceedings on the question will be postponed. I'm not aware of any of the further amendments, but are there any other amendments? If there are no further discussion, I move that the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, I guess, is now in order that the committee will have the roll call vote on the Conley amendment. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chaffetz.
No.
Mr. Chaffetz votes no. Mr. Duncan. Mr. Duncan votes no. Mr. Issa. Mr. Jordan. Mr. Jordan votes no. Mr. Sanford. Mr. Sanford votes no. Mr. Amash. Mr. Amash votes no. Mr. Gosar. Mr. Desjardins. Mr. Gowdy. Mr. Gowdy votes no. Mr. Farenthold. Mr. Farenthold votes no. Ms. Fox. Mr. Massey. Mr. Meadows. Mr. Meadows votes no. Mr. DeSantis. Mr. DeSantis votes no. Mr. Ross. Mr. Walker. Mr. Walker votes no. Mr. Blum. Mr. Blum votes no. Mr. Heiss. Mr. Heiss votes no. Mr. Russell. Mr. Grothman. Mr. Grothman votes no. Mr. Hurd. Mr. Hurd votes no. Mr. Palmer. Mr. Palmer votes no. Mr. Comer. Mr. Comer votes no. Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell votes no. Mr. Cummings.
Yes.
Mr. Cummings votes yes. Ms. Maloney.
Yes.
Ms. Maloney votes yes. Ms. Norton. Ms. Norton votes yes. Mr. Clay. Mr. Clay votes yes. Mr. Lynch. Mr. Lynch votes yes. Mr. Cooper. Mr. Connolly. Mr. Connolly votes yes. Ms. Kelly. Ms. Kelly votes yes. Ms. Lawrence. Ms. Lawrence votes yes. Ms. Watson-Coleman. Ms. Watson-Coleman votes yes. Ms. Plaskett. Ms. Demmings. Ms. Demmings votes yes. Mr. Krishnamurthy. Mr. Krishnamurthy votes yes. Mr. Raskin. Mr. Raskin votes yes.
Have all members been recorded? Is there any member whose vote? Gentleman from California, Mr. Issa.
Welcome back.
Mr. Issa votes no.
Mr. Desjardins.
You are not recorded. Mr. Desjardins votes no.
Gentleman from Florida, Mr. Ross.
Mr. Ross votes no.
Gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Massey.
Mr. Massey votes no.
All members been recorded? Any other member wish to be recorded? Clerk will report the tally.
On this vote, there are 12 yeas and 21 nays.
The amendment, the noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to. It's now in order to have the roll call vote on the Lawrence amendment. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chaffetz?
No.
Mr. Chaffetz votes no. Mr. Duncan? No. Mr. Duncan votes no. Mr. Issa? No. Mr. Issa votes no. Mr. Jordan? No. Mr. Jordan votes no. Mr. Sanford? No. Mr. Sanford votes no. Mr. Amash? Mr. Amash votes no. Mr. Gosar? Mr. Desjardins? Mr. Desjardins votes no. Mr. Gowdy? Mr. Gowdy votes no. Mr. Farenthold? No. Mr. Farenthold votes no. Ms. Fox? Mr. Massey? No. Mr. Massey votes no. Mr. Meadows? Mr. Meadows votes no. Mr. DeSantis? Mr. DeSantis votes no. Mr. Ross? Mr. Ross votes no. Mr. Walker? Mr. Walker votes no. Mr. Blum? Mr. Blum votes no. Mr. Heiss? Mr. Heiss votes no. Mr. Russell? Mr. Grothman? Mr. Grothman votes no. Mr. Hurd? Mr. Hurd votes no. Mr. Palmer? Mr. Palmer votes no. Mr. Comer? Mr. Comer votes no. Mr. Mitchell? Mr. Mitchell votes no. Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings votes yes. Ms. Maloney? Yes. Ms. Maloney votes yes. Ms. Norton? Ms. Norton votes yes. Mr. Clay? Mr. Clay votes yes. Mr. Lynch? Mr. Lynch votes yes. Mr. Cooper? Mr. Connolly? Mr. Connolly votes yes. Ms. Kelly? Ms. Kelly votes yes. Ms. Lawrence? Ms. Lawrence votes yes. Ms. Watson-Coleman? Ms. Watson-Coleman votes yes. Ms. Plaskett? Ms. Demings? Ms. Demings votes yes. Mr. Krishnamurthy? Mr. Krishnamurthy votes yes. Mr. Raskin? Mr. Raskin votes yes.
Clerk will report the tally.
On this vote, there are 12 yeas and 21 nays.
The noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to. It's now in order to have the roll call vote on the Cummings amendment. The clerk will recall the roll.
Mr. Chaffetz?
No.
Mr. Chaffetz votes no. Mr. Duncan? Mr. Duncan votes no. Mr. Issa? Mr. Issa votes no. Mr. Jordan? Mr. Sanford? Mr. Sanford votes no. Mr. Amash? Mr. Amash votes no. Mr. Gosar? Mr. Desjardins? Mr. Desjardins votes no. Mr. Gowdy? Mr. Gowdy votes no. Mr. Farenthold? Mr. Farenthold votes no. Ms. Fox? Mr. Massey? Mr. Massey votes no. Mr. Meadows? Mr. Meadows votes no. Mr. DeSantis? Mr. DeSantis votes no. Mr. Ross? Mr. Ross votes no. Mr. Walker? Mr. Walker votes no. Mr. Blum? Mr. Blum votes no. Mr. Heiss? Mr. Heiss votes no. Mr. Russell? Mr. Grothman? Mr. Grothman votes no. Mr. Hurd? Mr. Hurd votes no. Mr. Palmer? Mr. Palmer votes no. Mr. Comer? Mr. Comer votes no. Mr. Mitchell? Mr. Mitchell votes no. Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings votes yes. Ms. Maloney?
Yes.
Ms. Maloney votes yes. Ms. Norton? Ms. Norton votes yes. Mr. Clay? Mr. Clay votes yes. Mr. Lynch? Mr. Lynch votes yes. Mr. Cooper? Mr. Connolly? Mr. Connolly votes yes. Ms. Kelly? Ms. Kelly votes yes. Ms. Lawrence? Ms. Lawrence votes yes. Ms. Watson-Coleman? Ms. Watson-Coleman votes yes. Ms. Plaskett? Ms. Demings? Ms. Demings votes yes. Mr. Krishnamurthy? Mr. Krishnamurthy votes yes. Mr. Raskin? Mr. Raskin votes yes.
All members been recorded. Does any other member wish to be recorded? Clerk will report the tally.
On this vote, there are 12 yeas and 20 nays.
The noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to. If there's no further discussion, I move that the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform approve the resolution adopting the rules of the committee as amended. The question is on adopting the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no.
No.
Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Yes, roll call. Give us a roll.
Roll call has been requested. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chaffetz?
Aye.
Mr. Chaffetz votes yes. Mr. Duncan? Mr. Duncan votes yes. Mr. Issa? Mr. Issa votes yes. Mr. Jordan? Mr. Jordan votes yes. Mr. Sanford? Mr. Sanford votes yes. Mr. Amash? Mr. Amash votes yes. Mr. Gosar? Mr. Desjardins? Mr. Desjardins votes yes. Mr. Gowdy? Mr. Gowdy votes yes. Mr. Farenthold? Mr. Farenthold votes yes. Ms. Fox? Mr. Massey? Mr. Massey votes yes. Mr. Meadows? Mr. Meadows votes yes. Mr. DeSantis? Mr. DeSantis votes yes. Mr. Ross? Mr. Ross votes yes. Mr. Walker? Mr. Walker votes yes. Mr. Blum? Mr. Blum votes yes. Mr. Heiss? Mr. Heiss votes yes. Mr. Russell? Mr. Grothman? Mr. Grothman votes yes. Mr. Hurd? Mr. Hurd votes yes. Mr. Palmer? Mr. Palmer votes yes. Mr. Comer? Mr. Comer votes yes. Mr. Mitchell? Mr. Mitchell votes yes. Mr. Cummings?
No.
Mr. Cummings votes no. Ms. Maloney?
No.
Ms. Maloney votes no. Ms. Norton? Ms. Norton votes no. Mr. Clay? Mr. Clay votes no. Mr. Lynch? Mr. Lynch votes no. Mr. Cooper? Mr. Conley? Mr. Conley votes no. Ms. Kelly? Ms. Kelly votes no. Ms. Lawrence? Ms. Lawrence votes no. Ms. Watson-Coleman? Ms. Watson-Coleman votes no. Ms. Plaskett? Ms. Demings? Ms. Demings votes no. Mr. Krishnamurthy? Mr. Krishnamurthy votes no. Mr. Raskin? Mr. Raskin votes no.
Have all members been recorded? Does any other member wish to have their vote recorded? Clerk will report the tally.
On this vote, there are 21 yeas and 12 nays.
The ayes have it. The resolution is agreed to. The resolution adopting the rules of the committee is approved. There will be no additional further votes, but I would like to take this time to talk about the subcommittees.
Mr. Chairman, yield just for a second.
Yes.
Mr. Issa seems like he can't find his seat, Mr. Chairman. You do have a seat for him, don't you?
Yeah, but the problem is I've been sitting in it for the last 2 years. So as I was saying, subcommittee assignments are in the folders. I'd like to introduce the subcommittee chairman. This Congress, the committee will have 6 subcommittees with the following jurisdictions. Subcommittee on Government Operations will have legislative and oversight jurisdiction over government management and accounting measures, the economy, efficiency, and management of government operation and activities, procurement, federal property, public information, federal records, federal civil service, government reorganizations, the United States Postal Service, the National Archives, the Census Bureau, and the District of Columbia. We're very pleased that the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Meadows, who was the chair of the subcommittee in the previous Congress, will continue on as the subcommittee chairman of this subcommittee. Subcommittee on Healthcare Benefits and Administrative Rules will have oversight jurisdiction over healthcare policy, administration and programs, regulatory affairs, government-wide rules and regulations, financial services, and the administration and solvency of benefit and entitlement programs, and legislative jurisdiction over regulatory affairs and the federal paperwork reduction. The subcommittee will be chaired by Mr. Jim Jordan of Ohio. He was the subcommittee chairman in the previous Congress, and we're thrilled to have him continue on in that capacity. Subcommittee on Interior, Energy, and Environment will have oversight jurisdiction of the energy policy, public lands, environmental policy, fish and wildlife, mining, energy development, pollution, and related regulations. The subcommittee chairperson will be new. As you recall, we had Cynthia Lummis in the previous Congress. She has retired from Congress, but we're thrilled to have Mr. Blake Farenthold of Texas, who's in the Houston area, with much of the energy flowing through his district. He's been a longtime member of this committee. I serve with him also on Judiciary, and I think he'll be a fine subcommittee chairman here for us as well. I'm glad that he will be taking on that gavel. The Subcommittee on Information Technology will have oversight jurisdiction over information security, including cybersecurity and federal information security, information technology policy, management and procurement, emerging technologies, intellectual property, telecommunications, and a big one for me personally is privacy. The subcommittee will be chaired by Mr. Will Hurd of Texas. I thought that was one of the more productive subcommittees we had. They've taken on important, interesting topics. I have personal interest in this one as well, but we're thrilled to have Will Hurd back as the subcommittee chair. The Subcommittee on Intergovernmental Operations will have legislative and oversight jurisdiction over the relationship between the Federal Government and states and municipalities, including unfunded mandates, Federal regulations, grants, and programs. This is a new reconfiguration of a subcommittee compared to the 114th Congress. We're very pleased to have Mr. Gary Palmer of Alabama, who will be the subcommittee chairman. He has a deep background and understanding of this, a passion for the issue. There are tens of billions of dollars that flow out through these intergovernmental operations, and we're pleased to have Mr. Palmer of Alabama, as I said, as the new subcommittee chairman on that. The Subcommittee on National Security will have oversight jurisdiction over national security, homeland security, foreign operations, including relationships between the United States and international organizations of which the United States is a member. It will also cover immigration, defense, and criminal justice. A big portfolio, to say the least. But we have the very talented Mr. Ron DeSantis of Florida, who served in our military as a JAG, and he is passionate about these issues, well-versed in these issues as an attorney. We're pleased to have him as the chair of that subcommittee. Now I'd like to recognize Mr. Cummings to introduce the subcommittee ranking members.
Thank you. But in addition to that, first of all, I would like to start by announcing the election of Jerry Connolly as the vice-ranking member of our committee. Jerry Connolly has been very much committed to this committee, relentless and unwavering, and so we're very thankful to him for taking on that task. And I'm pleased to announce that the 6 members of our caucus have agreed to serve as subcommittee ranking members on the Oversight Committee. They are Stephen Lynch, Subcommittee on National Security, and Steve has been relentless on these issues and done extensive traveling and addressing issues that are so important, and certainly has been my right-hand person with regard to postal. Jerry Connolly, Subcommittee on Government Operations, speaks for himself. He's been a real leader in that area. Robin Kelly, Subcommittee on Information and Technology, again, another champion of those issues. And we have, Mr. Chairman, we have freshmen. Well, let me go. Stacy Plaskett, who is not a freshman, but she will be our subcommittee ranking on the Interior and Energy and Environment. But then we have 2 freshmen who have an opportunity that took me years to get, and they are subcommittee rankings, and that will be Val Demings, who will be our subcommittee ranking on intergovernmental affairs, and we look forward to her bringing her extensive experience to that position. And Raja Krishnamurthy will head up our subcommittee on health care benefits and administrative rules. So we're very excited about all of these folks heading up their subcommittees on our side. And again, Mr. Chairman, I'm looking forward to working with you as we move forward in this coming year.
Mr. Chair, I just have a question.
The gentlewoman from Michigan is recognized for 5 minutes.
I was just wondering on Interior, before Indian Affairs was listed under there, and I don't see it listed now, is that still part of that committee?
The gentlewoman is correct. Issues related to that. It falls under the subset of the Department of Interior and would fall within that subcommittee.
So it's still there, although it's
Yes,
not listed?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Gentlewoman yields back. That ends the committee's organizational portion of the meeting today. If there are no further business, without objection, the committee stands adjourned.